Maximalist decorating mistakes that make your home look chaotic. Now, maximalism is supposed to feel bold and layered and full of personality, not cluttered, chaotic, or visually exhausting. So, if you love color and pattern and vintage pieces and home decor with actual character, today we're talking about the biggest maximalist decorating mistakes to avoid if you want your home to feel intentional, collected, and stylish instead of just overwhelming. But before we get started, welcome back to Maximalist Home 101, your YouTube channel for everything maximalist. Let's get started. So mistake number 1, confusing maximalism with clutter. Now, in case you are not familiar, maximalism does not mean every surface has to be covered. It doesn't mean that every corner needs furniture, and it definitely does not mean that keeping every object just because it has color, texture, or a little bit of personality is a good idea. The difference between clutter and maximalism is intention. Clutter just feels accidental. You just haphazardly threw everything in there. But maximalism feels collected. A maximalist room can have layered rugs, bold wallpaper, mixed patterns, books, artwork, even vintage furniture, but there is still a sense of rhythm. A cluttered space often just feels like things were placed wherever there was room for them. But a maximalist space feels like the objects were chosen because they add to the mood, the color story, the vibe, the personality of the room. So before you add something, ask yourself, does this piece add beauty, color, texture, function, meaning? If the answer is no, it may just be visual noise. So you should probably leave it where you found it. Mistake number 2, using too many colors with no color story. Now, maximalism absolutely loves color. We know that. This is not a style where you have to whisper in beige and grayish and apologize for liking something like a royal blue or an emerald green. But even the boldest maximalist rooms usually have a color plan behind them. The problem happens when every color is competing equally. You have a red rug, a yellow chair, blue curtains, green walls, pink pillows, orange artwork, and you would be shocked I've actually seen that work in a room, but for most people it just seems like you're living in a box of Crayolas. Now the fix for this is not to remove all the color. I know that's where you want to head first. The fix is to choose a dominant palette. For example, your room might be built around jewel tones, so think emerald green or sapphire blue, burgundy, and gold. It will flow together, it will work together. The key is that colors should feel like they belong in the same world. So I'm not telling you to stick to a monochrome, just one color. I'm just saying make sure all of your colors at least like each other. Make sure they're family. A good rule is to choose 2 or 3 main colors, then just use smaller accents around them. One color can be like your main, your anchor. The second color can support it through curtains and chairs and pillows. And the third color can be your accent, something that you repeat throughout the room, just in smaller doses. Repetition is what makes maximalist color feel intentional. Mistake number 3, mixing patterns without a plan. Pattern mixing is one of the most beautiful parts of maximalist home decor, in my opinion. I mean, you can just get crazy with it. Florals with stripes or animal print with vintage rugs. It can look amazing. But pattern mixing can also go sideways very quickly. Trust me, been there. The room starts feeling busy when every pattern is the same size, the same intensity, or completely unrelated. For example, if you have a large floral wallpaper, a large floral sofa, floral rug, large floral curtains, If you walk in that room, your eye doesn't know where to go first. Everything is just all shouting at the same volume. That's what I like to call visual noise. So a better approach is to vary the scale. Maybe use one large pattern, one medium pattern, and one small pattern. For example, you might have bold floral wallpaper, a medium scale striped chair, and a smaller patterned set of throw pillows. The reason this works so well is because your eyes can separate the layers now. It's not everything coming at you full force. And this is how pattern mixing starts to look really sophisticated instead of really strange. Also, don't forget solids. In maximalist design, solid colors are not boring, especially because we need them a little bit. It can't all be patterns and stripes all the time. And maximalism works best when there is contrast between busy and calm. Because if everything is busy, nothing really gets a chance to stand out. Mistake number 4. You forget that maximalist rooms still need breathing room. We actually just touched on this, but we're going to dive a little bit deeper into it. I know, breathing room sounds like something minimalist invented while sitting on a white sofa with one pillow. But maximalism needs it too. Now, breathing room doesn't mean empty or boring or plain. It just means your room has places where the eye can pause for a minute. Now, that may be a section of wall around a really large painting. It might be a simple area of floor between the furniture pieces. It might be a solid color sofa in front of a patterned wall. When every inch of the room is filled, the beautiful pieces really start to lose their power. Even a gallery wall looks better when there's a little bit of spacing there. It feels intentional, like each one really has a place. A bold sofa looks better when it's not buried under 27 pillows. And a dramatic lamp looks better when it has enough space to actually be noticed. One of the easiest ways to create breathing room in a maximalist room is to edit surfaces. For example, instead of having 10 tiny items on a console table, try 3 larger items: a lamp, a vase, and a stack of books. You still get the vibe of something there, but you just don't have things really small all the same scale. Larger pieces often feel more elegant than a lot of tiny pieces scattered everywhere. Another tip is to let some walls do more work than others. Maybe one wall has wallpaper, another wall has a gallery wall, another wall stays painted in a rich, solid color. The variation keeps the room from feeling visually exhausting. The goal is not to make the room feel less maximalist. The goal is to make the maximalism easier to enjoy for you. Mistake number 5, buying too many random statement pieces. This one gets people because maximalist decor is full of dramatic items. I know, I get it. A bold chair, a sculptural lamp, a colorful rug, a patterned sofa, a wild mirror, a leopard ottoman, a chandelier that looks like you need sunglasses to look at it. Yes, the statement pieces are absolutely gorgeous, and I think that's why most of us love this style. But when every single item is trying to be the star, the room starts to feel a little crazy and chaotic. A strong maximalist room usually has a hierarchy. That means that some pieces are like the main characters and other pieces are supporting roles. For example, if you have a really dramatic wallpaper, maybe your sofa can just be a rich, solid color. So before buying a bold piece, ask yourself, where is this going to go? What is it going to vibe with and connect with? Or am I just buying it because it's interesting by itself? I'll tell you what I had to learn the hard way. Something can be beautiful and not belong in your room or in your home. And that's not shade to anyone. It's just good old interior design boundaries. And we love a healthy boundary, even with furniture. Mistake number 6, not having a focal point. Now, a focal point is the first place that your eye naturally goes to when you walk into a room. Do a little experiment. The next time you go somewhere, especially to someone's home, walk in their living room or maybe their kitchen and just look and see if you can pinpoint the focal point of that room. Now, in maximalist design, this matters even more because there's usually a lot of visual layers. There's a lot of places that your eyes could go. And without a focal point, the room can feel chaotic because your eye does not know where to begin. A focal point might be a fireplace, a really bold in-your-face sofa, a dramatic over-the-top bed, maybe even a gorgeous gallery wall that you've been working on for weeks now. Or a wallpapered ceiling. I love those, by the way. The point is, the focal point gives the room direction. And once you know the focal point, you can just build around it. For example, if your focal point is a green velvet sofa, it might be a good idea to repeat green in the curtains, the artwork, or plants. Then you can add some contrasting colors through pillows and flowers, and before you know it, you have your anchor color and your accent color. Next mistake, we have using decor but not enough texture. Now this is important because maximalism is not just about what you see, it's about how the room feels. A room can have lots of decor and still feel flat if there isn't enough texture. And I hate when you watch the YouTube home decor channels and they say words like texture and you have no idea what they're talking about. So I'm going to make it plain. Texture comes from materials. So velvet, rattan, brass, marble, wood, linen, fringe, glass, leather, woven baskets, embroidered pillows, and it can go on and on and on. Texture is what makes a maximalist room feel rich and luxurious instead of just busy. For example, a room with a velvet sofa, carved wood table, a brass lamp, patterned wool rug, a glass vase, and silk curtains. That room is not going to need much decor because you have so much texture already going on. That is why texture is so powerful. It adds depth. And if your room feels a little too chaotic, try removing a few small decor items and adding texture instead. One tip I got years ago and I still flow with: maximalism should feel touchable. Maximalism is not just a pretty picture, it's a style that you can feel just as well. Now this might sound strange because maximalism is known for abundance, but editing is what really makes maximalism work. And it's also going to take you from amateur to designer. Now listen, editing doesn't mean stripping your room all the way down. Editing just means choosing what deserves to stay. Doesn't even mean you can't replace it with something else. It just means you're taking a moment to go through all of your inventory, your whole space, and really just take the time to go through something, figure out if you love it, and if you don't, what you're gonna do with it. So ever so often, just step back and look at your room like you're seeing it for the first time. Ask yourself, does this area over here, this corner, does it feel too crowded? Are there too many small items on this table? Do these colors still work together? One of the best things that you can do is to take a photo of your room. For some reason, photos reveal clutter in a way that our eyes just don't really notice in real life. But that's really the best way. Just take a picture, give yourself a 5-minute break, look at the picture, and then that's going to give you a fresh palette to work from. Then just start editing slowly. Move things around. Take a few pieces away. Take another picture. Group smaller items together. Repeat colors a little more clearly. Take another picture. And what I hope that you're catching is that this is not an afternoon thing. This isn't something you can get done in a couple of hours. A beautifully decorated room, especially one that's going to be well curated and collected, may take days, weeks, months for it to actually come together and happen. Because remember, editing doesn't mean getting rid of your personality. It means making your personality a little bit easier for other people to see. That's the whole point. Maximalism should feel expressive, but it shouldn't feel exhausting. So if your maximalist room feels overwhelming, don't worry, you don't need to start all the way over. You might just need a stronger color story, better pattern balance, a clear focal point, and maybe just a little bit of editing. Because maximalism isn't about throwing everything in a room and crossing your fingers hoping it comes out fine. It's about telling a visual story with color and pattern and furniture and art and objects, and most importantly, with your personality. The best maximalist homes feel collected over time. They feel personal, they feel layered, they feel like the person who lives there has taste and memories and just this amazing point of view. So let me know in the comments, which maximalist style do you love the most? Is it Gotham Max, Glam Max, Vintage Max? If you check out the video that I posted directly before this one, you'll see I went through a lot of the maximalist fusion styles, so check that one out. And if you love bold interiors, layered rooms, colorful decor, and home design with a ooh-wee personality, make sure you subscribe for more maximalist home decor ideas. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.